You tuned in to the 7-day theory. Hard body, hard spirit.
What up, my people? Hard body, hard spirit. Check this. Well, we seen that coming. We seen this coming. Akash officially quits the Flagrant podcast. And look, I've been canceled Andrew Schulz. I've been canceled the Flagrant podcast, Flagrant 2, all that. But this has been going viral, and it's been, other people have been covering it. It's been up and down my timeline for a couple weeks, like damn near a month or two, when his wife first went viral for saying things contrary to what Akash built her up to be, right? He would talk about his wife. If y'all don't know, he was a virgin when he met his wife, when he got together with his wife. And she was supposed to be a virgin. We'll get into that. Because she started a podcast with her friend, and since then they quit the podcast. They don't do their podcast no more. The friend she was with, and we got to see and hear what Jocelyn really, her life really was, and how she really acts, and how and the things that she says that are really in stark contrast, really stark, like pretty much the opposite of what Akash was saying his wife was. He said his wife was a virgin. Let's start there. She's talking about, she goes on Instagram Live, or not live, whatever, stories, reels, and she proceeds to talk about how in college she had a roster. I mean, I'm talking about, this girl was talking like she was one of us, like she was a dude. She said she had a roster of white frat boys on her team. And she proceeds, so first of all, that already right there, that's weird. You're supposed to be a virgin, but you got a roster of dudes. And then, this is why I put the quotes in virgin, because she proceeded to tell a story about how when she was on her period, a guy ate her out and was disgusted by it because she was bleeding, which she claimed she didn't know she was still bleeding, and so she was still like what they call spotting, where she was still getting little drips of blood coming out. So he got that on his mouth and in his mouth, right? Pause. And she tells a story of a guy eating her out, but he's supposed to be a virgin. Like, all right, if you a virgin, I'm assuming nobody ate you out. That's sexual activity. You're not, to me, that's damn near the same as just full-on penetration. To me, it's really the same thing. So, really, technically, she's not a virgin. And then also, she also put in, first of all, before I go into the next story, because she didn't talk about this in this clip I'm about to show y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all watch the clip, then we'll talk about it. Check this.
Day of the year for me is?
Oh, I know this. Go.
Tax day?
No.
It's Akash's birthday.
And I feel it because she's being nice to me all day. And by like 10 p.m. I can feel her getting just like, I'm so ready for this to be over.
Okay, May the 4th is Akash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts of kindness.
She said that twice.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
What does a roster mean?
So it didn't actually translate to a roster. It just meant like 2 guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
You could not tell me nothing, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like,
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant
mean
fucking.
hooking up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say is so amplified and hyperbolic because it's so like incongruous to who I actually am as a person.
your man is weird about periods, that's a red flag break up with him immediately, no pun intended, because when I was in college, I dated this guy. You know, he didn't want to fool around when I was on like the heaviest days of my period. Okay, totally understandable. I get that. And I was like, oh, great, good news, my period ended. Like, we can like have fun tonight, blah, blah. And he was going down on me. Like, wouldn't you know it, I was still spotting. And also, if you're like poking around down there, like, more blood can sometimes come out even if your period is over. And I swear to God, like, I thought my period was done. He like looked at me with so much disgust, and I'll never forget that moment. Like, I felt so ashamed and so dirty, and like he was like, how could you do this to me, and all this stuff. Ruined the night and like whatever. And he was my boyfriend at the time. I was just like so depressed. I went home and like I called my sister and I was like, I have to tell you something, like this happened to me. And she literally was like, so? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, Jessie, that's so normal. Like, yeah, sometimes you spot. Like, why would he make it such a big deal and like punish you for it? And I didn't realize that at the time, but being with my now husband, it's so different because he has never once shamed me for spotting, or like maybe if we are fooling around and then like a little bit of blood gets somewhere, he's not like, ew, whatever. He's just like, oh, I'll wash the sheets. I got it.
Boy, Akaash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience and, you know, selling out Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up around the globe, and literally just like living the dreams that he would tell me about at 2 a.m. when we're eating fucking egg sandwiches at Veselka. So it's been amazing to see, but the experience has put things in perspective for him. And he has made the decision to focus all of his energy on stand-up. He is going to be stepping away from the pod. It is bittersweet. You know, we wish that he did not want to do that. But at the same time, you know, it's very hard not to root for your friend, you know, literally living his dreams. And if he feels he's got to give everything to that, then that's exactly what he's got to do. And we're going to rock with him. We hope you guys continue to rock with him. Go check out the show. We saw the show Radio City. It's phenomenal. You guys should absolutely go check it out. AkashSing.com. for tickets. So we just wanted to, you know, clear the air. Akaash hasn't been on the pod for a while. We thought it was time that we, you know, talk to you guys about it.
So that's not even all the clips, right? That it'd be too many. It'd take too long for this video to put all the clips of her talking about how promiscuous and how she had different dudes and all these different stories of her relations with other men in the bedroom, right? But one that I didn't put in there. One that she talked about, when a guy she had come over on a Tinder date, first night, they're laid up in the bed, she's drunk, he's drunk, and she was like, oh, I don't want to do nothing, blah, 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 and I guess he was trying to go back door with her. He was knocking on that back door. Let me go, all right, you don't want to do that? Let me go through the other hole. Let me do that, and since you don't want to do that. And she says she woke up and she says she fell asleep after supposedly telling him no. So this was really a graping for real. She says she woke up and her ass was sore. Her was sore. Okay, so which means to tell me that y'all did something. He did, y'all, whether you was willing or not, y'all did something in the bed that night. He did something. He penetrated you. Maybe not in the regular way, but not in the front. He came through the back with it. And really, that's disgusting for real. That's really a graping, to be honest. So you're not a virgin. Like, this goes back to the whole thinking of these Mormons and these females that was raised up in a real strict religious household. And this was, I learned about this years and years ago when I was probably a teenager, that if a female lets you come through the back door and not the front, technically they're still a virgin. Miss me with all that. Miss me with all that. No. Just because someone didn't penetrate one hole, they penetrated a different one, that you don't get to still say you a virgin then. You're not a virgin. I don't care if it was the first or the second hole. I don't care if it was the front door or the back door. They was in the door. You opened that door and they came through. Pause. So to sit up there and act like, and Akash spoke about this on the podcast, on Flagrant many times about how his wife is so pure and never messed with any other man but him. She was his first. But now when we actually hear what she has to say and she's talking about these stories, it seems like she's a whole nother person from what Akash was describing. Literally a whole nother person. So she didn't get along really with Andrew Schulz was the main one, but she was talking about how they were like borderline racist in the shit they would talk about and say to Akash, and that's where the problem. That was one of the problems she had with them. And then Andrew Schulz and her just didn't get along for real. They really didn't. And to hear how she talks, she does not talk like she was she talks like the next hoe that is smashing 100 dudes and she's only 25. She talking like one of them. I got a roster. I got a whole squad in college. I was wilding out. I was at parties twerking. Like she was promiscuous, or if not really promiscuous, she definitely wasn't a virgin. If what she did was said she did was true, or what this dude did to her was true. You're not a virgin. And so this really had the whole Flagrant fan base and followers, subscribers, straight up they wanted Akash to break up with his wife, which we knew that's not going to happen. No, you're not. And if that did happen, that'd be wild. That's not being a man. If somebody can tell you, if the commenters, your fans can tell you, divorce your wife, and you actually do it, that's crazy work. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. So for weeks and weeks, they even brought her on the podcast, and she talked about it. And some of those clips are from her on the podcast. And she said, pretty much to sum it up, she said, "Oh, this is supposed to be humor. This is supposed to be funny, because in reality, I'm completely opposite from what I'm talking about. So why are you saying it then?" And not all the comments she made and the stories she told, that was not for humor. That was actual stories. That actually happened to her, or that's actually what she did. But she also tells, just like she on the podcast where with her and her friend brought her husband on, and Akash was on. So it was four of them. It was Jocelyn, Akash, Jocelyn's girlfriend, and her husband were on the podcast, and she's steady making jokes, and you could tell Akash was uncomfortable, because I'd have been uncomfortable. I'd be like, "What the hell is you talking about? Knock that shit off." If my girl, and especially my wife, was on a podcast with her friend and her friend's husband, and what she said was, "Man, I bet he got a big D. I bet," talking about her friend's husband now. "I bet," and Akash is sitting right there. "Oh, I bet you he got a big D. Oh, he's so cute." From what he said just now, that was so cute. And she was just on this nigga's nutsack, literally hanging on, clinging on, hugging. She was hugging his nutsack while her husband was sitting right next to her, literally right next to her. She's saying what she wants to do and how attractive this dude is who already got a wife, and you sitting right there not saying nothing. Nigga, let your nuts hang. Like, did your balls drop yet? Because I don't think they did. Pause. To sit there and listen to your wife talking about another man's D is crazy. You wouldn't catch me dead in no situation like that and not saying nothing. I'm like, what? What? Knock that shit off. I would not stand there and just be laughing, ha. No, that's not funny. That's not a joke to me. That's really emasculating your husband, for real. That's really what she did. And she made everybody uncomfortable. I think that's why. And then also, she would also talk about how she wanted to have an orgy or a threesome with her friend and her friend's husband. She would constantly bring up, "Oh, I'm trying to make an orgy happen. I want to orgy." Like, she kept saying it, while Akash is right there. And anytime they would talk and it was just them two, she would tell her friend how handsome her husband is and all this shit. And I believe that's the reason why the girlfriend, Jocelyn's friend, quit doing the podcast with her, because of that. Because of that type of language, that type of talk, and trying to be funny, but really, you ever hear somebody try to be funny and act like something they say is a joke, but in reality, they mean that shit. They really mean that shit, and they're trying to frame it in a joke or a humor way. They're trying to frame it as a joke. It wasn't a joke. That's how she really feels. That's how she really felt about her friend's husband. So people were calling for every video that Flagrant put out. You'd have comments, people commenting, break up with your wife. Jocelyn is this and that. You need to break up with, right? So then after that happened, Akash just wasn't on the podcast for like 2 months. Everybody like, where's Akaash at? Like, is he in his bed crying in the fetal position because of what his wife said? So now we know, and they really tried to big him up and try to make it seem like, oh, he'd been doing comedy, but they try to make it seem now that, oh, he's really blowing up now, and he wants to put all his focus on stand up, on being that dude that being one of those goats as far as stand up goes. That's what he's trying to be. But he was already doing that. He was already doing that while on the podcast. So it don't make sense to all of a sudden, oh yeah, I can't do the podcast no more. I want to focus on my stand up career. You was already doing that, dog. Already doing that. You didn't need to quit the podcast to be a stand up comedian. Matter of fact, him being on that podcast, that's what blew him up for real, not stand up. And then being on that podcast, it really helps him in his stand up, because now more people are not everybody is checking for stand up. So when you're on one of the biggest channels and podcasts in the game on YouTube, that's promo. That's free promo right there. So for he's really shooting himself in the foot by quitting the podcast, because it really it enhances his stand-up and gets more people to know that he is a stand-up comedian, and to show dates, and just to let people know that he's a stand-up comedian to come to his shows, right? So really, he lost all those eyeballs that was looking at him from the channel, from the podcast. Now they ain't gonna be there no more. It's just straight stand-up. You're not gonna be in doing a podcast 5 days a week and letting people know where you're gonna be at, what shows you're gonna do, where at, and all that, right? So he lost that free promo pretty much. And I really believe that his wife, for sure, wanted him to quit the podcast. She wanted that. She did not want him to keep steady being on the podcast because of this situation that she created. She created the shit. She did all that herself. Nobody but her. And look, they tried to they bigged him up. Oh, you sold out this, and I went to the stand-ups. I went to your stand-up the other night. It was great. Oh, he's so great. People in the crowd was cheering. Everybody was laughing. It was he's just the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. Pretty much what they were saying, bigging him up. But I think he wanted to quit, and they didn't want to make it seem like he's quitting over this situation, so they tried to make it sound like, oh, it's his career. That's what it is. That's why y'all haven't seen him on the podcast. No, that's not true. And I can't stand when podcasts and channels have some controversy within themselves and they really don't talk about it, but they'll talk about everybody else's controversy, everybody else's bad news, negative news, and all that shit, right? Talk down on people. And the reason why I stopped watching Flagrant was because of the shit talking Andrew was doing, and why I canceled him. Myself, I stopped watching because of the jokes that wasn't even funny that Andrew Schulz made towards Kendrick Lamar when the whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle was going on. And he said something about he would grape Kendrick and he's so small it would be nothing he can do about it. He just had to sit there and take it. That's what Andrew Schulz pretty much said, to sum it up, that he would do whatever he wants to Kendrick Lamar and ain't a damn thing K-Dot can do about it. Knock it off. Like that him talking about that is what made me cancel him. And then also how he spoke down on black women. Like, you're not black. Which I don't even know if he dated a black woman or even kissed a black woman, got a black woman in bed. I don't know if he did any of that, and I don't think he did. So for you to talk down on black women and black men like you know what we going through and like you know what how a black woman is, you don't. You have no clue. You're a white boy raised in the suburbs. You don't know nothing about our culture for real. Really, he don't have no legitimate voice in the culture of the things he's talking about. Because he said what he said about black women was what he said. He said that he was making a stupid ass joke again about black men are bald. When they were talking about somebody being bald, going straight baldy with it. And he said, I know. That's why they going bald. They going bald. That's not by choice. That's by force. They're doing that because they can't stand. They're pretty much what he said is they're losing their hair because they can't stand being next to hearing this female complain all day. Like, and he said it worse than that. I don't remember that. That's not verbatim, but that's pretty much what he was talking about. That's pretty much what he said. I summed it up though, but it's just crazy to me how some these people get on these cameras and talk like they're of the culture because they got one black dude on the team on the squad. No, you don't. You don't know the culture. You're not of the culture. You wasn't brought up in the culture. You was a white boy from the suburbs. Mom's white, dad's white. You don't have no clue about what we go through. For you to sit there and make jokes about black women, that is really disrespectful. But you saying it like it's law, like we supposed to be listening to you. No, I ain't had that, and that's why I canceled him. For real. That's exactly why I canceled him. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Akash officially does not and will not be on Flagrant anymore. Now, in the future, do I see him coming back and doing like making guest appearances? Yeah, I definitely see that because he's still cool. But then really, I can see him maybe months from now or years from now going back on the podcast. I can see him doing that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments though. Like, share, subscribe. Membership's $1.99 a month. If you do sign up for the membership, I will shout your name out in every video. Shout out to John Paul. Keep your head up and your eyes open. I'm out.